It's been too long, but she's been on holiday. Welcome back, the beautiful Megyn Kelly.
Hi, how are you?
Now, of course, let's talk about the debate. All roads leading to Friday, our time. You can see it at 11 a.m. here on Sky News. But I wish you were the one who was moderating, not the Trump haters at CNN. How are you feeling in the build-up?
Oh, I don't see it like that. I'm sure they'll do a fine job. I think of the CNNers who you'd have to pick, they picked the best two. I know Jake Tapper's not a big Trump fan, and I'm sure Dana Bash isn't either. But I think on this, the biggest night of their careers, they're going to behave. They're smart enough to know. I mean, I've already been seeing some of Jake's coverage of like the Trump trial in New York, and he's playing it right down the middle, Paul, right down the middle. So I expect to see that night. And I will say this, the one upside of not doing it is I've had a summer, I've had a June, I've traveled with my family. So, you get one of these debates and it's your whole life. Every hour you're thinking about how can I upgrade my questions? Have I thought of everything? Can I be tougher? I need to be fair. What about this? Anyway, I'm excited to watch it, I will say, and then to comment. And if I'm wrong about those anchors, I will rip them to shreds on our next appearance.
Now, we know that everyone is deeply preparing from the debate, from the people hosting it to at least one of the two participants, but Trump is not. I think this is a problem. I don't know that he's going to be able to wing it with the ease that he thinks he's going to. And one of the reasons why you practice is to make sure that you don't get half a sentence right as opposed to something that stuffs up and creates a whole new world of problems for you.
Here's why I'm worried, too. I think he'd still make comments that are controversial, and that's fine. People are kind of used to that with Trump. But I'm worried because as Trump has gotten older this time around, he is rambling more. There's no comparison to Biden. I'm not making that point. But he's become a bit of a rambler. And the practice would be beneficial for him to practice getting up and down on a topic. Just this is your in and this is your out. And these are the 3 points you make on that issue, right? This is your in, this is your out. These are the 3 points you hit. And if he could memorize, 6 of those on immigration, on abortion, on the economy, you go down the list. I think he'd be in good shape if he could just remember those to stop the rambling. Now, there is a time limit, so that's good. That'll help stop rambling, presumably on both sides. But I think everybody could benefit from a little practice on these subjects. And look at what Trump does, what his kind of self-declared practices, these rallies. Well, that's a one-man show. There's no one interrupting Trump. It's stream of consciousness in front of a loving audience. This is the opposite of that. The only one who's going to love Trump in this whole production is Trump. The anchors don't like him. Joe Biden can't stand him. I don't think that the topics selected are going to be Trump friendly. I'm sure we're going to be doing a fair amount of January 6th, and you're going to pardon the insurrectionists and things like that. And so I hope he does have some concise points he can make in a way that will resonate with the viewers at home. Having said that, his biggest mission is to say something memorable that will get people talking and ideally make them laugh or make them fondly remember the moment. And I think he's very capable of that.
Now, give us a bit of an insight as somebody who's hosted one of these things before, been a debate moderator. Are you the type of person who works up to the big question, which is going to produce the big moment, or is it like, that moment where supposedly you go to prison and the first thing you do is to go up and slap the biggest person in the yard? I wouldn't be able to do that, but you get my point. Do you go for impact first, or do we build up to the biggest moment of the debate?
Well, that's my style. On the debates I've done, I like to pull no punches and, get them all right away. Like, it's on. Let's go. This is adversarial. I'm not here to please you. You're not here to please me. This is about the people behind me watching at home. Like, let's do this thing. I'm not going to go easy on you, and I shouldn't go easy on you. And let's see if you can handle it. And that was what was so great about Trump's answer to me in that debate. He could handle it. He was funny. He wasn't thrown. He was self-deprecating in a bit. And he kind of said what we all knew, which was people have gotten sick of how politically correct we are. And, what I say is what I say. That was his answer after the Rosie joke, which had people laughing and on his side and showing he's not scared. He can make fun of other people, of himself. So it's a big opportunity. I think it's a gift to them in a way. You throw your fastball, and they could potentially hit a home run. If they hit a home run off of a fastball, then it's absolutely brilliant for them politically and for TV, which, let's not forget, this is not some basement debate between kids. This is television, and you have to make it electric and dynamic to keep the people's attention at home. You want a memorable moment. You want everybody talking about you.
Now, let's assume for once that calm Trump turns up. Biden, of course, will be totally focused on trying to rattle him, no doubt talking about all the different court cases. But aren't there a whole bunch of gag orders that mean Trump can't actually answer some of the pushes that Biden will put on him?
And I don't know what he'll do. If Biden sets him up for that moment, advertently or inadvertently, and I don't know that it would be a good idea, because I think if there are 1,000 newspaper articles written about how Trump wasn't allowed to respond to that because of a gag order, people will be sympathetic towards Trump. But if Biden does it, it's going to be a real challenge for Trump. I think he'll violate the gag orders. I think he'll just say, I'm going to answer this. The presidency is more important to me than some slap on the wrist. But the problem is that slap on the wrist in New York would come from a judge who right now is considering whether to put him behind bars. So it's no longer just $1,000 fine. If he shows he is sort of a repeat violator of the law, and violating a gag order on an ongoing basis would be evidence of that in a typical case, he could be in trouble. So I don't think Biden will set that trap for the reasons I stated. But if he does, I think Trump will let his freak flag fly and have at it. And it's going to be an electric moment, too.
Now, slightly away from the debate, but kind of still about the debate, what about this rubbish the White House has been putting out? The footage we've all been watching for years now of Joe Biden falling up the stairs or falling apart before our eyes, that apparently all of it's fake. Don't believe your lying eyes.
This is just the stink of desperation. That's what this has all over it, the stink of desperation. They know we know, and we know they know we know. So what kind of a weird game is this? Because Biden's old, and we know that. And telling us that these videos are, quote, cheap fakes is not going to change the 300 videos that came before these three that they're pointing to. I mean, who do they think they're kidding? It's the classic example of, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? And I also think it has another problem to it, which is Trump's side and the Republicans have been getting hit fairly for setting the expectations too low for Biden going into this debate. That if he can stay upright for 2 hours now, it's a win. And by them saying all this stuff that you've been hearing about Biden and his senior moments are cheap fakes, they're raising the bar too high. Like, why would you do anything right now, of all times, to raise our expectations of his performance? Right now, you've been quiet for 3 years about it. You've placed things in newspapers trying to tell us, oh, he's robust behind the scenes and totally vibrant. No one can keep up with him. Okay. But why would you choose now to go on the record with a comment saying these are all fake videos, when you might be able to persuade some segment of the population that's not paying that much attention that it's true? And now they're expecting some Mensa member to come out there and do verbal battle with Donald Trump. I don't think that's smart.
Now, I won't lie. I'm a nerd about opinion polls. I don't think that they are gospel, but I think they are a little bit of a weather vane. And certainly in America, there are more than ever before. But you can get national polls that show it's very tight, Biden just in front. But then the states that matter, Trump in front, especially in places where Republicans don't normally do well, like Pennsylvania or Nevada. What do the polls tell you tonight?
Yeah, I agree. I don't look at anything other than likely voters, polls of likely voters. The polls of registered voters I find next to useless. And I almost never, personally, to determine my own opinion, look at the national polls. We don't have a national election. I mean, yeah, there's a national popular vote, but it doesn't determine whether you win the presidency. The only thing that's really relevant is those swing states. That's what's going to decide the election. Those 6 to 8 swing states. And I say the number's bigger than 6 because, Trump is putting states like Nevada in play that haven't been for quite some time. And he's way ahead. And he's going to get even farther ahead now because he's got this new proposal to not tax tips. And tips are huge in Nevada, which is largely a unionized state because of the casinos and the other service industries out there. So that would be a big boon to the service personnel in Nevada. Very smart political move for him. I do think we get ourselves excited because it's the only clue we have. It's like when a jury's out. If they ask a question, it's like, oh, a chance to read the tea leaves. I get to know a little bit about the verdict before it comes down. This is exciting, and I want the answer so badly. So that's why the polls are interesting. But, believe them and place bets on them at your peril, because at this point in the lead up to the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton was leading Donald Trump by almost 6 points. And we all know how that ended.
See you later, Megyn. I can't wait for your version of the Not So Lonely Planet travel documentaries. I'll be first in line to watch them. See you next week, mate.